Welcome back to another YouTube video with Cary Smith and myself, Amar Shah. Today, while we're recording this, May 15th, 2025, is National Ride Your Bike to Work Day, or what it's actually called now is Ride Your Bike Anywhere Day. I took my girls and we rode their bikes to school. Cary, you mentioned you had an interesting story about this.
Yeah, so first of all, since it's National Ride Your Bike Anywhere Day, I thought I would just show up in a cycling jersey. But, I've done the Ride Your Bike to Work a few times on National Ride Your Bike to Work Day. And here's what they don't tell you. It's also National Ride Your Rear End Back Home at the end of the day too, right? And so, when you leave in the morning, it's early, the temperatures are cool, the birds are chirping, and there's not much traffic. And then you work all day and you have a full day of work on you. And then it's hot. I don't know where the birds are. Cars are everywhere, right? And it's a totally different experience getting home. But the main point is it's great to get out and be active and get your body moving. And so if you don't ride to work, at least ride somewhere if you have a bike and participate.
Especially people are now work from home and so forth. So I think that's why they changed the name to Bike Anywhere because of the changing dynamics.
Makes
But
sense.
today's conversation is really around what are sports that retirees can do in retirement to stay engaged physically, to stay engaged socially. And we came up a list of top five that we can kind of go through here. And some of these sports may appeal to you, some may have no clue, no interest in, but there are also other sports that are aligned with that, right? So the number one sport that came up for us was pickleball.
Yeah. And, so I actually played pickleball earlier this morning. And, here's what I can tell you. If you're retiring now and you're just retiring and you've never played pickleball before, prepare yourself, one, for some good exercise, but to also be humbled by people who are a lot older than you. It's a competitive game and people take it serious, but it's not just good exercise, it's good social activity, right? Although you can play pickleball indoors, it's often played outdoors. So you're out in the sunshine, getting fresh air, and there's other things that pickleball contributes in addition to the movement, the flexibility, the exercise, and so forth.
And the top two things that pickleball helps retirees with are reflexes
Mm-hmm.
and coordination or balance, because in the sport you're moving side to side. So you start to use a lot of the small muscles that help with balance. We oftentimes find that as clients get older, the ability to reflexes and coordination tends to decline with age. And so this is one sport that you can keep them sharp. Also, no, you shouldn't go 0 to hero because it could have a high injury rate, if that's an issue.
Yeah.
All right. The second thing that we have is cycling.
Cycling.
And today's bike anywhere day. Obviously, you can tell I've been wearing a helmet earlier today. Cycling is easy on the joints. It's great for your heart, cardiovascular system. Also helps build leg strength. And Cary, I don't know if you've ever seen when they do like these DEXA scans or a cross-sectional scan of somebody's legs.
Mm-hmm.
And they always use triathlete, which involves cycling, and then they use a sedentary person, and you can tell the difference between muscle mass and fat and stuff like that. But yeah, so the legs are probably one of your strongest muscles to help absorb sugar and everything else like that. Largest muscles, I should say. And so it is a good sport for retirees on
Yeah.
that part.
And Amar, I know that a lot of the activities we do when we're retired, we might have started earlier, and you're a long way from retirement, but you're very plugged into the cycling community in San Diego, not just for yourself, but for your kids as well. And so I know that you're active, and you're not, and not just your kids, but other kids as well helping people see the benefits of cycling. And then I'm a road biker here in Arizona, and also a mountain biker, and have several friends that I ride with as well. And it's not just the, the leg strength and everything else, but it's this just getting out. And it's good for us to do things that are hard or difficult from time to time, but it's also rewarding, and you feel a sense of accomplishment after a good bike ride. Even if it wasn't a super challenging ride, you still feel a sense of accomplishment when you're done, and that's good for you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's multiple ways of doing cycling fun and safe, with groups and stuff like that. You don't have to ride on the streets. You don't have to deal
Right.
with cars, right? You can go to a velodrome track, which is kind of where I do most of my riding these days. Mountain biking, like you mentioned, there are some fire roads, which is, basically flat roads where you can ride a bike.
Right.
There's also the advent of e-bikes now that are lighter, that you can take on longer, group rides as well.
Yeah, agree.
So number three, swimming and water aerobics. So swimming is an all body exercise. You're in the water. The friction of air versus water provides extra resistance, and helps support a balance, flexibility, muscles, and cardiovascular conditioning.
So, my neighbors last summer, um, they're both in their early 80s. They lived in that house for over a decade, and they just put in a pool. And my first thought was, why would you wait so long before you put in a pool? But basically, it was their doctor saying, you need a way to get exercise that's not so rough on your knees and your hips, and you don't have to worry about falling and balance and all of those sorts of things. And the doctor was recommending they go over to the Y or someplace and swim. They thought they would do it more often if they just put one in their backyard. And so it's recognized as one of the most effective ways to get good exercise in a safe way, especially, if mobility and those sorts of things or balance becomes an issue.
Yeah. Here in San Diego, there's a lot of master swimming clubs,
Mm-hmm.
even open water swimming. So you get some cold water exposure
Yeah.
in the ocean. Uh, but yes, balance, swimming in general allows you to do an exercise. If it's at home, if you have space, they now have spas or like jacuzzi type things that have a jet propulsion, so you can swim against the current. So you
Right.
don't need a lot of space, and provides full body workout and potentially social aspect if you join a swimming group. The fourth one here we have is golfing, and I'm assuming this is golfing without taking a golf cart, walking the course,
That's
right?
right. That's right. We're not talking top golf with a margarita on the table behind you, right? But we're
Yeah,
talking about getting out and getting some sunshine and some exercise and swinging and walking and pulling a bag or carrying a bag and all of those sorts of things. That it's not just the exercise, but there's some social aspects to it as well. But golf is just a great way to get out and get some exercise.
yeah. The last one here is dancing. Um, Dancing has been proven to show that it improves your memory, rhythm, posture, and it's kind of like getting steps. The more you do, the more it boosts your heart rate, cardiovascular balance, all sorts of things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great activity, and rarely do you just go dancing by yourself, right? And so there's other people involved, and it's social, and there's interaction, and there's just things that are just good for your soul that are happening while you're getting some exercise. And if you've ever seen people out on the dance floor doing some type of dancing, they're having fun,
Yeah.
and so that's another aspect of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, we're not saying these are the top five for you, but you have to find, this is just generally speaking. And there's could be other sports that are equally fun, that help longevity, that help, socially engagement and stuff like that. One of the ones that comes to my mind is indoor rock climbing, where you have a rope and a belay device, and you can work on grip strength and climbing overhead movements. shoulder mobility, flexibility, core, making sure your core is engaged, and these type of things could mix a blend of cardio, strength, and balance, involve friends, build a community. I think the key thing here is to start slow. You don't have to go 0 to hero. You don't want to get injured, because if you get injured, that's time away from these activities. So taking it slow. Anything to wrap up, Cary?
Yeah, so two things real quick. One, I would think for any of these activities, there are people and organizations out there that'll help you get started so that you do it in a safe way, that you don't take on too much, right? To your point, so you don't go from 0 hero. So there's a lot of resources and people out there to help you get started. And just my last thought on this whole subject is, it'd be kind of a tragedy to work so hard saving and preparing for retirement to not have the healthy lifestyle to just be able to enjoy it, right? And so these activities aren't just fun, but they most likely will give you more enjoyment out of life and possibly even extend the amount of time that you have.
That's awesome.
All right.
So if you like our content, thank you for watching. Again, if you like our content, please like and subscribe. It helps other individuals just like yourself find our information. And thank you for watching.
Thanks, Amar.
Bye.